She says they'll all be shocked by who is behind this. While the family says it's concerned about the possible implications, Advocate Malisela Difo, who represents 4 of the 5 accused, is scheduled to be back in court for his matter on May the 27th, just 3 days before the resumption of the trial.
It's been 8 years silindile ukwazi ukuthi kwenzakalani. So if now sekufanele ngabe sesi process whereby la sogcina sazi ukuthi kwenzakalani sekuba nama delays, to us kuyasihlukumeza kakhulu.
She says it's been 8 years of waiting now for the truth. She says these delays are frustrating and hurtful to them as a family because they keep asking themselves how come, what is going on, and why this case is not proceeding like others. She says Senzo worked for this country. She hoped that the case would be given priority. She says they were promised so, but she says those people are now nowhere to be found.
Case yakhe izoshesha, and there were people ababesithembisa ekhaya ukuthi nje definitely abantu ababulala uSenzo bazotholakala akuzothatha nje isikhathi eside, but right now they are nowhere to be found. Sesisodwa nje as a family.
While the family says it continues to take significant strain.
Kuyasilimaza kakhulu because njoba yengachaza ukuthi we've been promised ukuthi indaba kaSenzo izothathelwa phezulu, but ke since kuze kube manje nje it's like mawusothi uyayibuka manje kungathi kuyisikeshi nje manje because manje nakho sekwenzeka nale jambinze ke court nje yabo wonke umuntu manje believes like sekunalento abanye abantu bathi if you are the Meyiwas we're going to close this case, of which akukho right.
She says the family is hurt. Now there is all this drama. She says she wants the case to be finalized. Senzo was a brother, a son, a husband. So she says they cannot throw in the towel. They just want the truth. They want answers. What did he do, she asks. She says he was bubbly and didn't fight. She says it cannot just be finished like that.
Because knowing Senzo was a bubbly person, and like me as myself, the day Senzo got to and the cousin wangifonela ngathi mina no, it can't be uSenzo lo wasekhaya because I know ukuthi uSenzo angeke azadutshulwe just because of uSenzo akasiyo umuntu othanda impi, akasiyo umuntu onochuku. So kunzima kakhulu ukuthini ukuthi umuntu onjengoSenzo avele nje kuphele nje ngaye kanjalo.
While the Meyiwas are hoping that the case will continue on May the 30th without another start-stop and more witnesses on the stand. Griselda Lewis, SABC News in Durban.
Are facing more charges. The National Prosecuting Authority says there are various dockets opened against Advocate Malisela Difo. He was yesterday released on bail at the Hillbrow Magistrates Court after being arrested at the North Gauteng High Court on Thursday. An arrest warrant was issued in January after he allegedly failed to appear in a matter in which he was facing trespassing charges. The matter has been postponed to next month.
Yet another plot twist in the Senzo Meyiwa murder trial, this time as the defense advocate for 4 of the accused found himself in the dock. He was arrested yesterday following the end of proceedings at the North Gauteng High Court, just moments after the instructing attorney told the court that Advocate Malisela Difo was facing imminent arrest. He appeared briefly in the courtroom too, where it seems he faced charges for non-appearance at 2 occasions at this court. It's alleged this is not the first time that he has absconded from appearing in this matter and had to be arrested to be brought in front of the judge.
In 2021 June, the court issued a warrant of arrest after he absconded, and then due to the fact that he raised several complaints about magistrates in Hillbrow Court, the matter was then transferred to Johannesburg Court for hearing of reasons why he absconded. And then in that hearing, he was then granted bail of 500 rands after the warrant was executed. So the one of January 2022 would be a second warrant that was issued against him.
In light of the fact that this is the second time that the accused has not appeared in this court, and this is the second time that a warrant of arrest was authorized, issued, and executed against the accused, I'm of the view that an amount of 10,000 rands is suitable, reasonable, and justified.
More charges could be leveled against the advocate.
The senior public prosecutor here received an instruction from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions to get all the dockets that were opened against him, and in few of those dockets prima facie cases were then established, and the instruction to the senior public prosecutor was that the matter should be transferred to the regional court in Johannesburg. So when the accused absconded on the 27th of January 2022, that was the exercise that was supposed to happen.
While he faces his own legal battles, he's set to continue representing the 4 accused in the Senzo Meyiwa trial.
It cannot happen like the way it did, and then I still remain silent. Yeah, so you say my spirit is broken, I'm more determined than ever.
Is innocent until proven otherwise. And in chambers we asked the date of the one he gave us to, not the other one, of the 30th, the week of the 30th, knowing that we'll be in High Court. It doesn't affect that case. He will still go to court and appear.
The matter has been postponed to the 27th of May, when Tefo will return to the Hillbrow Magistrates Court just 3 days before we return to the North Gauteng High Court, where he will be representing the 4 accused in the Senzo Meyiwa trial. Hasina Gori, SABC News, Hillbrow Magistrates Court.
Report. It covers the alleged capture of the National Treasury, the Free State Asbestos Project debacle, and the Free State R1 billion housing fiasco. The Commission handed over the first part of the report to President Cyril Ramaphosa in 2021, while the second and third parts were handed over at the beginning of this year.
This long-awaited version of the State Capture Report, amongst prominent names, ANC Treasurer General Paul Mashatile, Labour Minister Thulas Nxesi, Deputy Minister of Intelligence Zizi Kodwa, former Health Minister Dr. Zweli Mkhize, amongst others. After a number of extensions, the Presidency announced that the final part of the report will be handed over on the 15th of June 2022.
For me, this touches on the ethical issues that the ANC and of course the government have been emphasizing. People that are given the responsibility to lead are supposed to behave in a manner that should prove to be ethical and in a manner that is not supposed to be tainted by any form of suspicions and doubts. And the unfortunate part that we see here is that you have got these senior members of the ANC who are implicated, and I think for me that is where now we need to see the Integrity Commission of the ANC coming in and making recommendations on these senior members of the party.
From the first part of the report, the Commission has revealed that the rot of corruption in the country, from SOEs to various provincial departments. Part 4, Volume 2 of this report deals with the manner in which the Free State government, through the Human Settlement Department, handled the 1 billion rand of taxpayers' money. The money was meant to build thousands of low-cost houses. However, the houses were never built. The inquiry says there should be a probe into Msebenzi Zwane, former MEC for Human Settlement, for failing to provide proper provincial leadership with regard to a failed 1 billion rand housing project.
There has always been a talk about the procurement processes in South Africa and how officials in government are able to manipulate these processes so that the money that is meant for the poor has to go processes in South Africa.
Following its extensive investigations, it also zoomed in the Free State Asbestos Project. The Commission recommended that the National Prosecuting Authority consider charges against controversial businessmen Edward Sodi and former Free State government officials Ntimutse Mokhesi and Thabani Zulu. On the suspended ANC Secretary General Ace Magashule, the report made no recommendation yet. Magashule is facing charges of corruption, fraud, theft and money laundering alongside 15 co-accused.
The former Premier of the Free State and the suspended Secretary General of the ANC has not been mentioned in this report. And I think he would quite be happy that his name has not been mentioned in this report. And my view is that it gives him some sigh of relief that if there are those who expected him to be mentioned, he is not mentioned, and the only challenge in front of him now is the court case that he's facing, which led to him being suspended from his responsibilities as the Secretary General of the ANC.
While the country still has to wait for another report, Part 4 of the report also recommended that government obtain legal opinion on whether it would not be able to successfully recover the money paid to Blackhead Consulting and Diamond Hill joint venture regarding the asbestos eradication project. SABC News, Johannesburg.
Report I implemented. The team of internal and external lawyers is tasked with recovering stolen funds, prosecuting implicated persons, as well as taking appropriate action against those still in Eskom's employ. In the latest installment of the report, the Commission recommends that former Eskom executives and board members should be criminally charged. Amongst those implicated are Matsila Gogo, Anwar Singh and Brian Molefe.
According to the State Capture report, Eskom executives use their positions of authority and power to benefit management consulting firm Trillion. It notes that former Eskom CEO Brian Molefe and former CFO Anwar Singh benefited from the Guptas and or selling ESA in various forms. The report says these actions from senior officials at the power utility amount to corruption. Furthermore, the State Capture report says another disturbing factor is the fraudulent nature of the 595 million rand invoice sent to Trillion. The report thus recommends that law enforcement agencies should conduct investigations as may be necessary with a view to prosecute. Meanwhile, Eskom's current management has welcomed the report and its recommendations.
As previously communicated, Eskom has already taken steps to recover funds irregularly paid out by Eskom to various suppliers. In this regard, Eskom, working closely with a special investigating unit, has been successful in recovering 1.1 billion rand from McKinsey & Company, 1.577 billion rand from ABB, as well as several other significant cases. Eskom has further initiated civil actions to recover some of the monies lost to state capture, including 3.8 billion rands in damages suffered by Eskom due to unlawful actions by those implicated in state capture. Eskom is studying the report to identify whether there are implicated individuals still in its employ and will take the appropriate action as required in line with its policies. This is in addition to the numerous criminal cases registered with the South African Police Services over the years and disciplinary actions taken against its employees implicated in the irregularities.
During the days of state capture and corruption, the report has found that efforts to capture national treasury were futile. The Commission has highlighted the important features that took place in seeking to take over the National Finance Department. In